So unfortunately, there's some good things that occurred during that game, particularly our defense. I thought played really, really good football for the majority of the game. But unfortunately, we just, as a team, didn't do all those little things that you need to do in order to beat a good team. So that's where our focus will be. I'll take any questions you guys got.
Okay, first question will go to Scott.
Hey, Kevin. What are you going to do at quarterback against the Bengals?
Yeah, we're still putting this game to bed. So anything related to Cincinnati, I'll update you guys as we get into the week.
All right. And then with Nick, do you know if he's going to need surgery?
I don't know that just yet. Yeah,
So
I don't believe so.
Okay. In like recovery time, do you know how long?
Yeah, I don't want to. It's a shorter term recovery time, but obviously you're going to lose him for the season.
Right. And just with him, Kevin, did you see, I know it's such a tough knee injury, but did you see signs of him kind of rounding into the form that we're so used to seeing as the season went along?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you saw Nick get had some really big plays for us this season. Think about some of the runs near the goal line where he put his head down and powered through, including in the games where he just got back out there. So I can't say it enough how impressive it was to watch him get back for this season. Going all the way back, I still have the video of him running the hills at the Greenbrier, and just the guy's so determined. So very, very disappointed for how, with yesterday and him having that unfortunate injury, but it can't take away from what he was able to accomplish this season.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, when we talked to Jameis after the game, we went over some of the interceptions, and the one went off in Nick's hands, and then he described what happened with the receiver thinking he was throwing it to someone else on the third one. The question is, do some of those things factor into your decision on what you're going to do? And then also the fact that a guy like Jerry Jeudy has absolutely flourished and thrived with Jameis, would that be another thing that you would take into consideration?
I think with any decision, Mary Kay, you take everything into consideration, certainly. So we need to work through all those type of things, but ultimately we want to do what's best for the team.
But with Jameis's interceptions, I mean, do you feel like, does he have a point? I mean, some of them have gone to Elijah Moore, where, Elijah really hasn't done very well on the jump balls this year per se. I think he's way up there in terms of passes intended for him. I mean, how do you feel about Jameis's interceptions in total?
Yeah, I would tell you, Mary Kay, and we kind of talked about this last week, you really treat each play as its own entity, if you will, and you make sure that you coach a player up on every single play. So on plays where you have an interception or a missed assignment or whatever it may be, you just try to learn from every single one of those, and they're all different. So that's what we're continuing to do. I think just sitting with the quarterbacks and going over those plays, I think it's good for everybody to learn from them, particularly when you feel like you can maybe make a better decision, have better technique, whatever it may be.
Okay, thanks.
Next, we'll go to Jeff.
I guess I was going to ask you a similar question, Kevin. As a coach who's been around quarterbacks basically your whole career, what teaching points can you give a quarterback to be more careful with the ball?
I think ultimately, Jeff, you certainly are playing in a position where you're making decisions 70 times a game. And you have to trust what you see. You have to trust in your technique. And certainly we know that a big part of winning and losing in football is taking care of the ball. We get that. We also know that you have to play a style of football that gives yourself a chance to make yards. So there are times that you're aggressive. There's times that you're not, based on what the situation is, maybe based on what the route concept is and those type of things. So I think you coach all of that up constantly, Jeff. And we're trying to play that game where we take care of the ball and you find a way to win. But it's always going to be something that's important to winning and losing in terms of taking care of the football.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we'll go to Tony.
Okay, Kevin, when you say you're going to do what's best for the team, do you mean this week or for the team in general? And I'm talking about the quarterback situation. Isn't it time for you guys to make some decisions about rebuilding this thing for next year?
Yeah, I think my focus, Tony, whether it's the quarterback position, it's really any position, constantly trying to do what I feel like is best for the team for right now, for this week, for Cincinnati. That's really where our focus is.
And another question on Chubb. We talked to Chubb last week and he said he's not close to shutting it down and all that. But was there any conversation that he would have been shut down somewhere in the next 3 games?
No.
Why not?
Am I allowed to answer your question with a question?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, he's been through so much. Wouldn't just to refresh his knee as long as you could be in the best interest of him?
Yeah, I think, and I understand what you're asking, Tony, but I would tell you is our guys are competitors. They're here to play. They're here to compete. Nick is an ultimate competitor with how he carries himself in the building, on the practice field, in the game field. That was never under consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Next we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Kevin, I know Dorian last night said that he had a package of plays already kind of planned for him, and it just kind of was an expanded role when you guys put him out there. When you guys are determining who's going to be the starting quarterback this week, is there the possibility of kind of figuring that out all along the way while still expanding Dorian's, I want to say, like, practice, the things that you're expecting from him, so that way if he does go out, if it is him, he is more prepared for that? Is that something you can do?
I think we obviously need to work through all of it, Cam. Certainly that there's plays that we have for a lot of guys that sometimes you get to, sometimes you don't. But in the case of this, I think it's just something that we just need to work through.
Have you guys been able to do that at any point, in Dorian's time here? Kind of think about how you would use him in a long-term role?
Yes, I think all of our guys are really all of them are working towards that. Whether you're getting reps with the scout team, with the ones, with the twos, whatever it may be, I think we're constantly trying to think of our guys' roles moving forward.
Thank you.
Next go to Daniel.
Hey Kevin, again on the quarterback decision situation, do you expect to have a decision next time we talk to you on Wednesday, or is it something where you'd like to see both guys practice and get practice reps throughout the week before you make a decision?
I'll update you guys when appropriate. Again, it's, as you can imagine, Mondays are really about putting this the previous game to bed. So just have some more work to do.
Understandable. And a separate question. Are you at this point? Are you willing and able to rule out JOK for the rest of the season? And is there any update from you on him?
Yeah, I don't have an update just yet on Jeremiah, but I will update you guys when appropriate.
But not expected to play this week, obviously. Or...
Not expected to play this week. That's right.
Got it. Thank you.
Next we'll go to Spencer.
Sorry. You guys have talked a ton, Kevin, this year just about like the pre-snap penalties, and I know that's been a point of emphasis for you guys. Just what has prevented that, I guess, message from getting through, or those mistakes sort of still persisting, you think, even this deep into the season?
Yeah, we need to avoid the avoidable penalties, and those pre-snap ones we feel like are avoidable. Are there some things that maybe I take issue with? Yes, we knew that going into this game that may happen with that crew, and we'll get answers to those type of things. But it doesn't change the fact that you don't want to put your team in any way unnecessarily behind the 8 ball with something pre-snap. Those are the easy ones that we need to avoid.
And then I guess the silver lining from yesterday, Jerry getting to 1,000 yards, obviously for the first time in his career. I know I asked you a couple weeks ago just about what you envisioned with him when you got him, if you kind of saw this potential, but as the season winds down, you sort of look ahead to even like next year and beyond with him. Just how excited are you guys about the possibilities that he gives you guys as a potentially number 1 wide receiver and what he's kind of proven this year for you guys?
Yeah, he continues to make plays in a variety of ways. He shows the ability to line up everywhere in the formation, which I think, like we've spoken about before, speaks to his intelligence. And he's somebody that we'll continue to utilize because he's made a lot of plays with the ball in his hand.
Thanks, Kevin.
Let's go to Ashley.
Hey, Kevin, just with Nick out, what do you guys hope to see from Jerome over these last 3 weeks, and what's going to be important for him?
Just continue to build on yesterday. I thought he was really good. Obviously, gave us a spark in the kick return game, gave us a spark on offense. So it's just building on that. I thought his pass protection was good as well. So another young player that will get a few more opportunities.
And then just going back to the quarterbacks, I mean, over the last year, you've seen Dorian obviously more than we have just in practices and stuff. Like, how have you just kind of seen him grow in those moments where, we're not privy to necessarily?
I'd tell you, Dorian, like a lot of young players, Ashley continues to use all of his reps that he gets to make himself better. I mean, I think when you're running the scout team cards, those are great opportunities to get better. You're not running your plays per se, but these plays are so similar, so you can take yourself through a rep or a concept that you can get better at. And then in terms of just individual, just seeing a guy that takes coaching, takes the individual period into what he's doing in practice. So I see a lot of growth from Dorian and from all of our young players.
All right, we'll do a few more. First one from Daryl.
Yeah, Kevin, I wanted to ask you about the special teams. You've had so many issues with that unit this year, not just from a kicking standpoint, but the return game. What has led to the drop off there, and how disappointing has that been for you week to week to continue to have those struggles?
Well, obviously, Daryl, you're trying to affect the game in a positive way on teams, and certainly our return phases are setting up our offense with good field position. That's the thing with special teams is you're talking about points and field position, two things that are obviously very important to winning and losing. So disappointed with some of our the plays that have happened in our punt return in particular. We need to be better there. Obviously, turning over the ball is really disappointing and not something that we can do when you're trying to, again, set the offense up.
And I know you want these players to take it 1 week at a time. Just how, big picture wise for them, though, how critical are these final 3 games before you and Andrew have to get in a room and really have an honest conversation about the state of the roster and who fits this team going forward?
I think every game is important, Daryl, whether it was game 1, game 17. We look at every game as an opportunity for our players, for our coaches, and it's your tape is your resume. So these are really important games for all of us.
We'll do 2 more. First one from Mary Kay.
Yeah, Kevin, how are David Njoku and Cedric Tillman coming along? Are you optimistic they'll be able to play in Cincinnati?
I'm hopeful, Mary Kay. They're both getting better, but we'll have to see how this week plays out.
And if they can't play, obviously you guys struggled with getting any production out of most of your receivers except for Jerry Jeudy yesterday. Do you have other thoughts, plans, or ideas on what you can do to generate some more production from some of the other players?
Certainly, we have to, Mary Kay. Obviously, Jerry's has been very productive, like we talked about, but the best that we're at our best when the ball's being spread around and multiple guys are making plays, and we trust all of our guys who have the ability to catch it. So it's our job just to put them in position to go make those plays.
Thanks.
All right, and last one from Scott.
Kevin, Miles said he was going to see, I think, the eye doctor today. Do you know what the result was?
I think he's still there, so I don't have an update just yet.
Okay, so you don't know like if it's going to be it could affect him this week or anything?
I don't know just yet. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we'll have players here shortly. We'll let you know when they're on the way. All right, everyone will have Jerome Ford here in a minute if you want to get your questions ready. All right, everyone, we have Jerome here. Raise your hand and we'll get to you. First question will go to Ashley.
Hey, Jerome, just seeing Nick go through another season-ending injury here, just how hard is that for you guys, knowing everything he worked through to get back from the knee?
Yeah, it's real hard to see. Kind of like you said, seeing all the work that he's put in to be on the field, and then him having to turn around and have another injury like this. You know, it's sad to see, and I know the type of guy Nick is. He just back to work.
Why do you think it is, like, in your time getting to know him, that, anytime he's gotten hurt, like, guys are visibly emotional almost, like, you all talk about him in the same way and that he's the heart and soul of the team. Like, what is it about Nick that makes him that kind of player?
Just the way he come to work every day. He in early, out late. The way he work, how much work he put in, and you being able to see it on the field. Bursting in practice. It's a bunch of little things that he do that we all get to see day in and day out, and just to see it like coming to fruition on game day, everything that he do, it's like a proud moment for us. Like, dang, he do it every day in practice, and now we get to see it in the game. So I think that's about it.
Okay, next we'll go to Cam.
Hey, Jerome, I know that you said that you're Nick Chubb's biggest fan and you guys are really close. So I just wonder, you had the experience of having his back through that knee rehab. What does it look like this time around? It's a shorter window, but still something that he's going to have to overcome. So, as his friend and teammate, what does it look like supporting him through this one?
Just making sure we finish out the season strong. Just kind of taking it how he would and taking it day by day, making sure we put the work in throughout the week so that we can get what we want out on game day, and playing hard on Sundays and trying to win out.
And for you, when you're back in the backfield now, you seem to have some really explosive runs. That 62-yard touchdown had to have felt good. So, I mean, is there a little extra motivation now to put that out there and be successful yourself, not only for you and for the team, but to back up Nick while he's out?
Of course, a lot of motivation to go out there and play harder, finish strong.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to Patrick.
Hey, Jerome, just wondering, like, what are some things you've learned maybe either on the football field or off the football field from your time with Nick so far in your career?
How to carry myself on the field, practice, off the field. Nick don't say a lot of things, but the way he worked, the way he come in, he set his routine, and just seeing things like that, from the meeting room, the way he take notes in every meeting room. He's been in the league 7 years, been in his offense for a long time. So, just being able to see him, operate on a daily basis, and, you ask him a question, he like, oh, you should do this, and do that. I think those have been a big help for me, and I've been, fortunate enough to have a vet like that.
And then on that 62-yard run last night, just kind of what do you see on that play? Like, what do you think kind of worked well on that? Could you kind of walk me through that?
We had a couple reps of it in practice this week. Coach had been harping on being slow on that specific play, and we had a play against the Giants that we fumbled because of timing, and I just wanted to make sure that I got the timing right. And wide receivers, all offensive line did a great job of blocking it up. If you look at that film, it's just me running. I'm not touched at all, and that's pretty much offensive line and wide receivers doing their job.
Awesome, thank you.
Next we'll go to Scott.
Hey, Jerome. I mean, you had the explosive kickoff return. I think it was last week, you had another one yesterday, and then the long touchdown. Um, what's it been about the last couple of weeks? Are you feeling healthier than maybe that stretch earlier in the season?
Nah, just honing in on the little things. That's really about it. Stay in the course, and good things end up happening.
Did it feel like you were waiting a long time for these kind of explosive plays to happen this season?
Yeah, I think whether it was from me, anybody on in the running back room, we just been waiting on somebody to break one, and it just so happened to be me.
Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Tony.
All right, hey, Jerome, I think it's safe to say that everyone on this call is as big a fan of Chubb as you are, even though we're in the media. But what would you say to people who say, at his age, Chubb's never going to be what he was?
They just need to take a deeper look at the film and the things that he's put into this game in the past, and say give him a little bit more time. And when he back and he rolling, I feel like the play and the work will speak for itself. I have no doubts about how Nick Chubb would play when he come back from this one. I had no doubts about the last one just because of how he worked. And when the time comes, we'll be able to shut all the naysayers up.
Okay, and a question for you about you have had recent success the last couple games and kickoff returns, but you've been part of the special teams now for 2 years. What do you think's going on elsewhere? There's so many facets to the special teams, but it has been a big problem throughout the year. What do you see the problem?
We always have a great game plan. Us as players, sometimes you know, we got to make plays, and I think it comes down to that and making sure that we are doing our job, and all 11 players are doing our job. That's really about it. As long as all 11 players do their job, we'll have success in any facet of the game.
So you're putting it on the players.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next one, Mary Kay.
Yeah, Jerome, just wondering, with a quarterback decision looming for this weekend, whether it's going to be Jameis or if he'll go to Dorian or whatever, I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on what Jameis has meant to the offense over these last 7 starts? I know about all the interceptions, of course, but just what has he meant in terms of kind of waking up the offense, and how do you feel about playing with him?
Jameis meant a lot to our offense and to the team in general, from being a leader, being a funny guy, or just being a great person off the field. He's meant a lot to us.
And in the event that they sit him down, what impact might that have on some of you guys? You specifically, if they bench Jameis, how will you feel about that?
Uh, it's a decision that's made by the higher ups, and I got to go out there and do my job. And I feel like everybody feel the same, but it won't change how we think about Jameis. And Jameis will still be that guy that's out in the forefront, still leading the team in any way that he can and helping the team in any way he can.
Okay, thank you.
Last one from Spencer.
Hey, Jerome, you guys had your highest total rushing yards for a game yesterday in back-to-back weeks where you guys went over 100 yards on the ground. Just what have you noticed in like recent weeks that's allowed you guys to be more successful in the run game and be more consistent in the run game that's kind of working for you guys?
Um, like I said before, just honing in on the details. We are everybody getting on the same page, all 11 guys doing our job, from the offensive line to us hitting the right holes and being in the right places, the wide receivers blocking on the edge, and the quarterback making the right calls, and the coaches calling the right plays. I feel like when we hitting on all cylinders like that, it's really hard to stop us.
Thanks, Jerome.
Thanks, Jerome. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we have Rodney McLeod on deck if you want to get your questions together. Hey, Rod.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. All right, everyone, we have Rodney here. If you want to raise your hands with questions, we will call on you. All right, first question, we'll go to Cam.
Rodney, I know that this is obviously your last season in the NFL, but some of the guys have been talking about why it's important to continue fighting through, especially on defense, to keep the unit together. Is that kind of a shared sentiment throughout the roster, knowing that they want as many guys to continue into 2025 as they can?
Yeah, I believe just the heart and the spirit of the team is a competitive spirit, and we all recognize that this is our only opportunity as the 2024-2025 Browns team to be together, and our signature is on this season, and of course, things haven't necessarily gone the way that we would have hoped. But I feel that through it all, one thing is true is that we've stayed together. The spirit has always been right. It's been a fighting spirit. It's been one where, we do believe. And I think, nothing's going to change, despite, the loss. It hurts in the moment. These 24 hours, it does suck because we put so much, work and time into it. But knowing that there still are 3 remaining games and we have to go out there and fight as one. And honestly, we want to just experience that victory feeling again. So the mindset, the heart for us is push on and let's try to get a win on Sunday.
For you, these last 3 games, what do you need? What do you want to see out of them, knowing that they are probably your last 3 in the NFL, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I want to win all 3. I want to go out a winner. And, I think when I started the season, going out a winner what existed for me, what that looked like was, hosting a Lombardi trophy. But, I think any competitor, any person that respects the game, as much as I do and the rest of the team, going out, finishes the year strong with 3 solid wins versus great teams who are all, still in playoff contention and might even, find themselves in the playoffs, is something that everybody can walk away with and feel good about.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Rodney, just wondering, with the quarterback decision looming, we don't know what it is yet. But if Jameis gets benched, I'm just wondering, how would you feel about that? And what has he meant or brought to you guys this season?
For us as a team, we support anyone who lines up, behind center, whether that, was Deshaun starting out, Jameis, now taking over, or DTR, to finish the game for us yesterday. That is our mindset. And that's how we approach that situation. I think it's been clear and very evident and how impactful Jameis has been for us as a leader, both on and off the field. You see that was evident from day one. That was my observation as he supported Deshaun through it all, through OTAs, training camp, and up to the point where he was a starter. He stayed consistent. He is the identity of what selfless looks like is Jameis, and he's continued to demonstrate that throughout his time here, and it's been a pleasure just to have him as a teammate, learn from him, pick his brain, and it's been exciting to watch him on the field, and what he's been able to do for the offense. So we'll see what Kevin decides, but at the end of the day, we support whatever that final decision is.
Thank you.
Next, go to Ashley.
Hey, Rodney, I know this year it just seems like complementary football has been a struggle for you guys. Multiple people have brought it up, but like yesterday when the defense plays really well, things are kind of going haywire elsewhere. Like it just seems like guys don't really turn on each other with this group and don't want to pass blame around. So what is it about you guys that you kind of just move on and there's not like grudges being held or public spats, you know?
It's the love that we have for one another, the foundation that we built, and how through rough times, nothing can really, pierce that foundation that was created, and that was formed in OTAs, training camp, and just throughout the year. It's unconditional love, regardless of the final results, and we all. Envision the season being completely different. But this is our reality. And so, one thing that we can do is we can continue to band together because it's when you have something like that, that's something that you can build off of. And when you have good character men in the locker room with you, you can build on that. So that's what we're staying true to. And that's what's going to keep us showing up each and every day and continuing to fight, on Sundays.
And I mean, I know you obviously made the decision to retire after this year a while ago, but just knowing there are 3 games left and that things haven't gone the way you guys wanted, and it's been a losing season, just how do you feel? I mean, just going into these last few weeks.
Thankful. That's what stands out to me, and recognizing the gift that God has blessed me with, and making sure that I do right by that. That I respect the gift, and I'm responsible with it, and that means me giving everything I have into this game. That's given me a lot, and so that alone keeps me moving forward and is at the forefront. And that's what I'm really focused on, man, is making the most of what is left of this season, of this short season.
Next, we go to Scott.
Hey, Rodney, talking about having 3 games left, did you, during the season, have you ever reconsidered that this would be your last for whatever reason? The fact that it hasn't gone like the team would want or anything else?
No, no. Honestly, just content with whatever the finish is. And I think there's no perfect story. There's no perfect ending to it. And I'm just comfortable with living with the final results.
And Kevin talks so much about turnovers, and obviously yesterday it was so startling. Just how tough is that from a defensive perspective when you guys are playing really well yesterday, but you're not getting a chance because it's 6 turnovers?
I think, yeah, every game, we go into, we talk about the turnover margin, and we talk specifically about us, what is our record when we're ahead in the turnover battle or we tie. And that has been very consistent. And I think across football, turnovers, whether you get them or you're giving them away, it either, enhances your chances of winning, or it diminishes it. And so, for us yesterday, we put ourselves in a very difficult space with 6 turnovers offensively and on special teams, and that's what we're chasing, like that collective game where all 3 parties are playing at a high level, executing. And when we've done that, we've resulted in wins. But, when now, we're taking turns in making the game a lot more difficult than it needs to be, then that's when we found ourselves, on the wrong side of these games.
Thanks.
Last one from Spencer.
Hey Rodney, obviously everyone's kind of had some thoughts on Nick Chubb going down with another season-ending injury. I'm curious though, from like your perspective. I mean, you've been part of so many different teams. You've been part of a Super Bowl winning team. Have you ever come across a player that, like of Nick Chubb's stature, where he transcends like offensive players have nothing but good things to say, and he's so impactful to them, defensive guys, the coaching staff, everybody just is impacted by his sort of influence on a team?
Yeah, I have. And Chubb has that effect. As you said, he's a guy that shows up every single day, his truest self. And what people have, what you understand about Chubb is that he takes the game seriously. He takes preparation seriously. Everything that it requires of him to do, he does. And for him, I think it's all about winning, and it's all about serving his team. And so when you see a guy who does like everything the right way and is a hell of a player on the field, it hurts. When you see him go through some of these tragic moments throughout his in the past couple years of his career. And so my heart goes out to him, and I'm just praying for him. The physical recovery, yes, but it's more of the mental battle that I know all of us have faced. If you've experienced any sort of season-ending injury that requires, intense surgery and the road to recovery is long, that can have an effect on you. But I know he has all of us to lean on. He doesn't have to, carry it himself. And I know Nick, man, is going to line up back on that field, and it's going to be another huge accomplishment for him, and just something that you can add to his story.
And then you've talked so much already about just this being your last three games and how you're kind of approaching it. But if for your teammates, as they watch you sort of go through this process and wrap your head around being done with your career and all this, so like a lasting message that you kind of want to leave with those guys over these next few games that they can kind of carry on into the rest of their careers?
I think for myself, just always, respecting the game and being mindful in how you show up every single day. I pride myself on trying to be the same individual every time I walk into this building, every time I hit that grass, regardless of year 1 to year 13. As a Super Bowl champion, before I was, after I was. I think there's a lot that a young player can learn from just my daily walk, as well as a veteran who's aspiring to play 10 plus years. So I just try to be that same guy each and every day. And again, show my respect for the game by the way that I, approach, everything inside these walls and outside.
Appreciate it, Rodney.
Thanks, Rod. That wraps us up for today.